Hunter x Hunter has many interesting character dynamics: the friendship between Gon and Killua, the rivalry between Gon and Hisoka, the strange brotherhood between Killua and Illumi, but one of the most intriguing yet weird dynamics is Hisoka and Illumi. The relationships between antagonists can be fascinating no matter the series, but with the way Hunter x Hunter handles its villains, suddenly things get even more interesting. Many of Hisoka and Illumi's interactions can be unpredictable because of how complex their dynamic is. Anything could happen at any time. There's so much at work between these two, so what I want to do in this video is analyze the dynamic between Hisoka and Illumi. When and how Hisoka met is unknown, but that information isn't too relevant. What really matters is the interactions between these two, and there's a good amount of that throughout the series. The first time we see them meet is during the 4th phase of the exam with a very nonchalant meeting. It is clear they only met to help each other with the exam, and pretty much all their future interactions are when they need to help each other out. Because of this, they don't seem very close with each other. They are more like acquaintances rather than friends. It is the complete opposite of a relationship that, say, Gon and Killua have. It's a very give and take relationship. But this is about as close as these characters can get with anyone in most instances. Illumi preaches to a person like Killua, an assassin. They are not allowed to have any friends, and he himself doesn't have any friends outside of Hisoka, which goes to show how aloof he is and how Hisoka is more important to Illumi than it would seem. It's pretty obvious as to why Hisoka doesn't play well with others, and it's quite surprising that he has anyone that he sort of gets along well with Illumi. It's weird that they have anyone they could get along well with, let alone with each other. So why and how do they work as acquaintances? One thing that keeps both of them intrigued is curiosity. They want to know more about each other, not in a personal friendly way, but in a manipulative way. In the election arc, Hisoka was testing the waters with Illumi. He tempted Illumi into killing him by threatening Killua's life, which caused him to ooze bloodlust. Not only did he do this to help pressure Killua, but also helped him gauge how strong Illumi was. He's hooked in by him and wants to know what gets him going. Illumi has done something very similar. After the Hunter exam, he threatened to kill Gon because he was a nuisance to him, but Hisoka reacted immediately and would kill him if he did anything. It might just be Illumi being oblivious to Hisoka's toys, but that contradicts his previous statement of, "I understand your concern for his future." If that was the case, Illumi would know not to mess with Hisoka in that way unless it was intentional. Curiosity helps fuel this relationship. There are a good amount of hints as to why Hisoka has been acquainted with Illumi for so long and not killed him. During his reintroduction in the election arc, he makes observations based on how much he would want to fight them. Right when he notices Illumi enter the room, his expression completely changes and he gives him the highest score so far. He knows Illumi will give him a good fight. Seeing how well Hisoka did against Black Voice, an ability pretty similar to Illumi's needles, during his fight with the Cruello, he's probably been prepared to fight Illumi at any moment. At the climax with the situation with the Zoldyx and Aluka, Hisoka was seriously considering to fight Illumi then and there, but why did it take so long for him to actually start fighting him? When Hisoka finds someone with a lot of potential, he likes saving them to let them grow and eventually fight them in the future. Everyone is a toy to him. He does this to Gon and his friends. With someone who seems to be at their peak, he wants to fight them as soon as possible. The best example of this is Cruello. He did whatever it took to fight Cruello, so what's up with Illumi? He may not be as strong as Cruello, but he's certainly one of the strongest people he knows. He may have been preoccupied with Cruello, which even took his attention away from the Chimera Ants, but one odd thing he has for Illumi is a form of respect. He mostly works together with him for selfish reasons. He has some sort of respect for him if he's gonna work with him that long. In order to understand this type of respect, we must first understand why Illumi is allies with Hisoka. Illumi's reasons are a lot more complicated than Hisoka's as they seem to contradict each other. He's against Killua or any assassin having friends, yet he has one known as Hisoka. He goes out of his way to help Hisoka, like when he's acting as his duplicate, when there really isn't much personal gain for him. He knows this is supposed to be a mutual relationship, and he knows that they want to kill each other, so what's in it for him? We know that Illumi is a manipulator both in Nen and as a person, and wants to be in control of power. He wants to get control of Aluka and use her power. He could have been doing this to Hisoka to a certain degree. He was of great use as shown in the election arc, but also he knows that he can be a force to be reckoned with and gives in to some of his demands. That's why he didn't kill Gon. He's trying to manipulate him. But there are moments where he seems genuinely friendly and helpful towards Hisoka. He does genuinely try to help Hisoka at moments. He offers to help Hisoka during the 4th phase of the Hunter exam, and he should be preoccupied with finding his own badges. This may not seem all that big, and while yes, it is kind of a small thing, it does show that Illumi can display some sort of kindness towards Hisoka. He knows Hisoka can handle himself and really doesn't care too much about this exam. That was the only reason he called him, so really, how does this benefit him? While he's mostly acquaintances with Hisoka for selfish reasons, he's genuinely looking out for him at times, which is more than Hisoka's done for Illumi. There really aren't any moments in which Hisoka helps Illumi without any sort of personal stakes for him. This all goes back to the respect these two have for each other. What kind of respect is it precisely though? They have a mutual respect for each other. They have esteem for each other's abilities and skills. You know, they can make use of each other, but at the same time, they have something even more special. The thing is, they have sort of an understanding of each other that no one else has. They have extreme personalities that no one can really get. They're too complex for people to understand, but because both Hisoka and Illumi are like this, they can see them for who they really are. They have extreme personalities and over-exaggerated passion for what they live for. They understand this mindset because it is their own. Hisoka and Illumi respect each other's skills, but also because they can see themselves in each other and know each other like no one else does. But that understanding also is what causes tension between them. While they do understand each other for how similar their mindsets are, they are complete opposites in terms of the extremes they are. Hisoka has somewhat of a nihilistic worldview and he has no set beliefs, and the only value he finds in life is through fighting and killing. He does whatever it takes to satisfy his needs to the greatest extremes. He leads a selfish way of living. This may sound weird, but most of what Illumi does isn't that selfish. Most of his goals are to satisfy the needs of the family. When he wanted to tame and control Aluka, he wanted to do it in the safest way possible for the family. He has a twisted love for his brother Killua. When he told Killua that he shouldn't have any friends, it's not because that's what he wanted, it's because from his perspective, that would be a detriment to Killua, and he thinks he knows that since he's the one that raised Killua himself. Killua would be the greatest asset to the family, and Illumi wants best for them. Illumi does what is best for the family to an extreme. The difference in needs and motivating factors causes traction between Hisoka and Illumi. Hisoka has no set beliefs and only acts upon his own desires rather than any real necessities. Everything Illumi does is for the well-being of the Zoldyck family and for the most part without selfish intent. This opposite way of thinking may cause them to attract and helps them work better as a team, but because they are so firm in their beliefs, they could never truly get along forever. To Illumi, Hisoka is too disorderly. He has nothing truly worth fighting for, just living for pure enjoyment. To Hisoka, Illumi is too strict, without any joy, just insistent on working. Extremely similar, yet complete opposites. A very love-hate relationship. One of the most recent revelations in the manga is Illumi joining the Phantom Troupe. This has given some extra insight to Hisoka and Illumi's relationship. Hisoka commissioned Illumi to kill him and didn't tell him where he is. They are treating this very seriously, which goes to show how much this relationship matters to them. They respect each other enough to go all out, with Illumi even joining the Phantom Troupe and going on the Black Will. At the same time, they've been wanting to do this since the beginning. They knew they were going to kill each other at some point, and Hisoka finally broke after his fight with Kurolo, which is a whole different thing. We knew Hisoka wanted to kill Illumi for some time now because he's always bloodthirsty and wants to play with his toys. Illumi's always been one of his strongest and most enjoyable for a fight. This has always been in his nature. For Illumi, he operates under the mind of an assassin. He explains to Killua that an assassin is incapable of truly having friends, as they will eventually kill them. Everyone is a target to them because it is in their nature. He describes Gon simply as a novelty, and Killua only wants to be around him for his own curiosity rather than any sort of friendship. The way he describes this sounds very similar to his relationship with Hisoka. Hisoka has a very unique presence to him that no one else really has, and that satisfies Illumi's curiosity. Illumi has the mindset of an assassin, so of course he knew that it would eventually get the better of him when it comes to Hisoka. Illumi knows he's incapable of making friends, and while Hisoka was the closest he ever got, he knew it wouldn't last because it is his nature to murder. This is why they're taking this so seriously. They've been tempted to kill each other for so long, but haven't been able to until now. This is a serious matter to them. Not only has Hisoka set off the troop, he's also got his only ally on him too. He stopped caring and is going to the greatest extreme. Illumi no longer has any incentive to keep Hisoka around, and now that he's gotten completely mad, now he can let his assassin tide take charge. Chaos is brewing. What this is to them is a game of tag, a very important game of tag that is. Illumi seems to be treating this like any other job he takes, but he knows the personal stakes he has in this. He has said very little on the matter to anyone since he has taken this very seriously, doesn't even know where Hisoka is. Hisoka's completely lost it, and not only has he got the spider on him, he's got Illumi in there too. No more BS, he's not allowing them to prepare anything. Hisoka and Illumi have reached their tipping point, and one of them's gonna die on this ship. There's been little shown of this, but there's so much story potential. Hisoka and Illumi, they have a very give and take relationship in which they use each other because their skills can be of use. They're not actually seeking to create an actual meaningful connection, just something very selfish and manipulative. They are very curious about each other and how they operate, what triggers them and what motivates them. Hisoka's clearly shown that he thinks of everyone he knows as a toy, and Illumi not being an exception. Illumi wants to make use of Hisoka's powers, but also shows some genuine concern for him. Both have a mutual respect for each other because they have very similar extreme mindsets that no no one else really understands, but the difference in what drives them causes some tension. With recent revelations in the manga, they've taken things to the extreme, and there's bound to be some mayhem in the Black Whale, Hisoka and Illumi, on the strangest dynamics. So that's been it for this video. What do you guys think about this dynamic? What are some of your predictions for what's going to happen in this current arc? Leave a comment down below detailing your thoughts. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe for more content like this. Check out my anime list and Twitter down in the description to see what I'm up to. So, until we meet again, I'll see you guys next time.